Fields are drying out, but most irrigation still runs on fixed schedules. The constraint is timing, not just water. Thursday, 4:47 a.m. A maize farmer steps onto soil cracked like old ceramic. 3 days ago, the forecast promised rain. Now the leaves are curling before sunrise. Diesel is expensive, and one choice has to be made before breakfast. Pump now, or gamble on a sky that already failed once. This is no longer just a yield problem. It is a predictability problem. Agriculture uses about 70% of global freshwater withdrawals, and the world is heading toward 9.7 billion people by 2050. FAO estimates food production may need to rise about 60% from 2005 to 2007 levels. One bad irrigation call can mean a lost field, a lost season, and no water left for the next heat spike. Now, farms are being rebuilt as control systems. AI models trained on field records, weather, satellite imagery, and plant response can predict crop yields with 85 to 95% accuracy, versus roughly 60 to 75% for traditional methods. Robotics companies are scaling fast too. The agricultural robotics market is projected to grow from $14.88 billion in 2024 to $81.24 billion by 2034. The claim is specific. Better farming under climate stress is not one machine. It is continuous sensing, prediction, and targeted action. Where to water, where to till, what to plant, and when human judgment should give way to evidence. If you like first principles documentaries, subscribe to CivilizationX. Plants fail by physics before they fail by appearance. Roots lose access to water. Leaf temperature rises. Stomata close. Photosynthesis drops. Yield loss begins before a farmer can see it from the road. So, climate-smart farming starts with measurement. But here's the problem. Soil probes track moisture and temperature. Cameras on drones and satellites detect color shifts in canopy heat. Local weather models estimate uncertainty, not just a single forecast. Then AI compares those signals against past crop responses to estimate water need, disease windows, and yield risk early enough to matter. That matters because peer-reviewed work in smart agricultural technology found AI support tools can raise yields by 15 to 20%, cut required investment by 25 to 30%, and improve efficiency by 20 to 25%. The first big lever is irrigation. Instead of watering an entire field on a timer, precision systems deliver water only where root zones are actually drying. That can cut water use by 30 to 50% while maintaining or improving yields. The second lever is planning. AI-driven crop planning can reduce the negative impact of economic uncertainty by 40% through higher confidence forecasts, which changes seed orders, labor timing, storage, and when to sell. The third lever is robotics. Weeding, spraying, scouting, and harvesting are timing-sensitive jobs. Machines with computer vision can treat plants individually instead of treating whole fields as averages. That same logic applies below the surface. Adaptive selective tilling targets only the soil zones that need intervention, cutting greenhouse gas emissions by a factor of 10 compared with uniform processing. But here is where the story turns. Some of the most resilient farming may involve leaving open fields behind, but can it scale fast enough? Hydroponic systems remove soil variability, recirculate water, and feed roots exact nutrient mixes. They can use up to 90% less water than traditional farming. In urban vertical farms, output per square meter can rise by up to 700%. As the FAO has argued, controlled hydroponic greenhouses are a food security strategy in regions exposed to drought and floods, and crops themselves can be redesigned. CRISPR-Cas9 can edit how plants respond to drought at the cellular level. In maize, editing the argosate promoter increased drought condition yield by up to 5 bushels per acre. Research reviews now describe gene editing as a serious path to stronger drought, salinity, and heat resistance. So yes, the technology works, but accuracy is not the same as reliability. Take 100 field decisions. A model that is 90% accurate still misses 10. Those misses are not random. They often happen during extreme conditions outside the training history, exactly when the decision matters most. But here is the problem. Even a correct recommendation fails if the farmer cannot afford the pump cycle, sensor maintenance, software subscription, or electricity to act on it. That is why the IPCC's warning matters. Climate change has already reduced food and water security. Prediction helps. It does not erase exposure. The realistic path is layered, not universal. Open field farms get better sensing, robotics, selective tilling, and AI irrigation. High-value crops move into controlled environments where water and climate can be engineered directly. Drought-prone regions adopt tougher seed traits where regulation and cost allow. But more than 80% of the world's food comes from family farmers. And IEEE has warned that AI agriculture also raises liability, privacy, intellectual property, and compliance problems. So return to that Thursday morning. The old farm asked one person to read the sky. The new farm asks sensors, models, machines, and biology to narrow the gamble. Not perfect control, better odds. The open question is the hard one. Can integrated farm AI combine weather volatility, soil signals, plant stress, crop genetics, and market constraints well enough to make reliable planting and irrigation decisions when climate has no historical precedent? CivilizationX is where we test those systems against reality. The constraint is real. The data exists. Whether the systems built around it can act on it at scale, that is the next engineering problem.